Our evangelical tradition, our Puritan tradition, our Reformed tradition, whatever you would like to call it, focuses so often on the personal holiness of our acts. It focuses so often on our individual deeds. And that's fair because we will be known by what we do. I get it. But our faith is so hyper-focused on it that we think that these are actions are holy and these other actions are not holy. And we think about it in much the same way that they did back then. We have so many markers in our world about what's good, and we have so many markers in our world that's not good, that we end up categorizing people based on who we think they are. I'm not foolish enough to think that we don't do that. But I am foolish enough to believe that our hyper-focus on individuals and their sin and the forgiveness that we desire so much for our past sinful ways and their future forgiveness for all that stuff they're doing, our reticence as a culture to look at what sin can be outside of what we think is sinful. Y'all, we live in a world that is defined specifically by greed. That's how our world is defined, is by greed and by competition, and we're just fine with that. But then don't let some of those other things happen, or we say the world is just coming to an end because God can't have that sin around. And we let other sins exist so that we don't have to look at our own sins. And that's a problem that Jesus was dealing with back then too. That's the story that Mark was trying to tell. So to Mark, there was nothing more beautiful in this world than a God, a Messiah, who didn't do what we do as people. He ruled by a whole different set of standards, and those standards included anybody, even those his culture sought to silence. So here's the good news. If we're living in sinful ways, Jesus does call us to repent. Those sinful ways almost always have to do with getting what we want at the expense of somebody else. That's what sin looks like. That's what lying is. That's what murder is. That's coveting. That's all that stuff. That's all that stuff is. But sinful is also categorizing some people as worthy of God's love and some people as unworthy. Sin is also accusing those people of being bad, but seeing these people as good and not looking at anything other than that. Sin is also including some and excluding others based on definitions that we've created, and that's something that touches every single moment of our lives. It determines what grace looks like. It determines forgiveness.